Hi, Dan Kulp here from KulpLights. I wanted to introduce two new products that have been added to my store this morning. Each product has a different use case that it's targeting, and I'm hoping the new products will be useful for somebody. So the first product is really geared towards people that that want a very small controller, relatively inexpensive controller that can be like attached to like the back of a prop or something similar that would allow that prop to be kind of like self-contained. It would be like a Wi-Fi based controller running FPP, so you can have effects and stuff on it and possibly have some triggers or something that go with that. But again, something cheaper than like the full range, like the K16s or even the K8s that are a little bit bigger, and obviously designed for larger and more high density props and things like that. So to meet this use case, I decided to create a very, I want to say, low end controller that's just to fulfill that kind of need. So if we jump over there. So this here is the K2-Pi0. It is designed to fit on a Pi0, the Pi0W or Pi02W. There's too many numbers and stuff there. You can see this is on a Pi2W. So you can kind of see how it mounts. It's roughly the same size as the Pi0, and from what you can see, it's got 2 pixel ports. Each port is E-fused using the new electronic fuses. Each one is capable of 6 amps. So the 2 ports combined can give you a fairly significant number of pixels. So for like a smaller prop that needs 1600 pixels or less or so, which is still a lot of pixels, this type of controller should work fairly well. The power range on these, it's 5 volt to 24 volt, so whatever range your pixel, like whatever voltage your pixels that you use, just kind of plug it in and you get 2 ports of pixels. Like I said, the goal here was to be relatively cost effective, so it's doesn't have a lot of the features some of the bigger controllers have, such as like like the real-time clocks, and because of the small form factor, there's not really a space there for an OLED display and push buttons and all that type stuff. But some of that's space limited. Others is just trying to keep the cost down and making it more suitable for smaller props. Along this edge right here, you can see there are some GPIO pins. If I tilt it up, you can kind of see there. It's just normal pin headers. And those can be used for triggers. I mean, the outer edge does have the I2C bus thing, so if you want to add an RTC, like a real-time clock or something to it, it's relatively simple to put an RTC on there. If not, there's several GPIO pins there that can be used for push buttons or other sensors or something to trigger various actions or something that your prop may do. So again, this is the Pi2, the K2-Pi0. Again, really small. It's available in the store today, and I will cover that in a second. The second new product I have is designed for a different use case. Obviously, with Christmas lights, we do a lot of stuff with pixels, but when you start dealing with like Halloween and even to some extent some Christmas displays, there's motion. People want to have like skulls that talk or wave at you, or Santa that waves, or something else that would be servo driven. Currently there's not a lot of really good ways of driving servos, so what I decided to do was create a new controller, and this is what it looks like. This is the K2-Pi-Servo, and it's mounted on a Pi. And this controller is designed to be a self-contained, like a really self-contained controller for controlling both lights, music, triggers, as well as servos. So from what you can see from here, there are 2 pixel outputs. So just like the K2-Pi0, we've got 6 amps each with 5 to 24 volts. This power connector is used to power both of the pixel connectors as well as the Pi. So whatever you plug in over here will basically provide power there. So there's, again, 2 outputs of pixels. We have the OLED and the push buttons over here, so you can navigate the menus and stuff on the OLED and see the status information. Down in this corner we have some GPIO triggers. So again, you can plug in push buttons or other types of triggers that to trigger FPP events or similar. And then along this edge we have 16 PWM outputs, or pulse width modulated outputs, for controlling up to 16 servos, or they can be configured to be like pulse width for standard LED, like low current LEDs or similar. So like eyes of a skull or eyes or something like that. That's not pixel based, but in general they'd be used for servos. Since the pixels are using the DPI protocol, that leaves the sound working. So on the Pis that have sound, which this does not, it's supposed to be a 5, the sound would still work, and which again, so allows the entire prop to be self-contained. You can have a push button that triggers a sequence that flashes some lights, triggers some motions, as well as triggers some plays some music if there's if you have a speaker plugged in or similar to that. So again, it's a completely self-contained controller, but it does run full FPP, so you can run it in remote mode or as a player or standalone. The one semi-caveat is again, because there is not an RTC on here, mostly because I ran out of edge space on the board. You can kind of see we have all the edges are kind of full of stuff. There wasn't really a place for a battery, so there's no real-time clock on here, but there is the I2C bus is exposed there, so if you do need an RTC, you can add one, but again, if it's connected to the internet or has internet available, it can pull the time from the various internet time servers, so that shouldn't be a huge deal as well. Again, this is a kind of designed to control both motion and lights, which is kind of a unique controller in our space. So that's the 2 new products. If I switch over to the browser real quick, you can see they're now in the store. So this is the K2-Pi0. We have you can purchase it pre-mounted on a Pi0 2W, and with or without the SD card. That's the SD card will be coming with FPP 7.5, and they work fine with 7.5. Again, it's eFuse based, so it's in the eFuse category. There's the current monitoring and all that stuff that's available for this. Really inexpensive and ready to go. The K2-Pi-Servo also in the store. You have an option of purchasing it with either Pi4 or Pi3B Plus, with or without the SD card. The SD card for this will come with 7.5. With FPP 7.5, it will work with 7.5. It's just there are new functionality coming in FPP 8 that will make it a lot easier to configure, and just will work better eventually it'll work better with KulpLights. So over the next couple months, I'm hoping to update KulpLights to allow uploading configuration for the servos along with the pixels, right? And so that's going to be work in progress. But if you are using 7.5, you can still configure the servos to work. If you kind of go over here, with a 7.5 based system, you would have to go to channel outputs, other, and add the PCA 9685, and you can kind of go through all the ports and configure them based on what the requirements of your servo and your channel range and all that stuff. So as a sneak peek for those of you that are looking to run FPP8, with FPP8 there will be a separate tab where you can kind of go, and each port can have its own start channel. You can configure a bunch of stuff related to the servos, or even if it's an LED, it'll switch over to LED based settings as opposed to servos, and that's all a work in progress as we kind of flush some of this stuff out. But that's coming. So if you want to run FPP8 and test some of that, that's definitely a possibility. So again, both products are available in the store and ready to ship. That said, there is, due to an upcoming trip, there may be a little bit of a delay in shipping that, but they're there. So hope these products are useful for people. Obviously, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Thank you.